Alrighty, Doc here from North America. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. It's another fun-filled day. Let me just make sure I have everything going the way it's supposed to be going. Looks like it. We have there, you can see the dollar index up on J4X. And you can see the CME dollar index up on Chicago Quant. And you can see that it's been slowly drifting down, and let's see. And so pretty much the action we've seen is just a slow, steady drift. When you have a dollar that's been running and running and running, and it just doesn't back off. And then, it all is connected to the level of economic growth, really. I mean, that's what, here's the initial jobless claims. 219 actual versus 203 estimated. So, sounds like continued jobless claims are pressuring 1.361 million actual versus estimated at 1.345 million. Okay, so a little nervousness. The stock market is picking up a little bit here. And that is exactly what's really going on here. It's a combination of, America is the engine for the train of the world. So in other words, when America is running healthy economically and solidly, the world also benefits from that. And when America is joining in with this, what's the best word to describe it? The socialism, I guess it is. In other words, what was it? The UN that talked about it yesterday? Command and control. They want to go back to the Soviet times. They want interest rates to be dropped, and they want command and control economy. It's always funny, no command and control economy moves the world. But, they say this stuff, because that's what they believe in. That's okay. They're allowed to believe that. But I can say this. There is no command and control economy. I guess the last one, whoa, we got some violent volume. Let's kill that volume, too. There we go. The last, I guess you could say, country that they raved about, in other words, the left raved about, was Sweden. But Sweden now has sold all those companies and like post offices and everything else privately, and has freed it up to, free market systems. And now they've elected a free market government. So obviously, it makes it very tough when the American economy is stuck in that command and control mode like it is right now. But it'll get going again, and the world will move forward. Let's see. Oh, there's Janos. Hey, Janos. Hey, there's Robin. Hey, Robin. Hey guys, let's see. CNC is wartime measures. Command. Yes, exactly. It should not be used on the current economy. Exactly. Janos always speaking good economic theory. That is like what Soviets used nonstop. It does not work out eventually. Exactly. What is it? Margaret Thatcher used to say. Sooner or later, you run out of other people's money when spending money. She used to say that, when the government is spending money, she says, sooner or later you run out of other people's money. This is obviously not the government money. They're borrowing it. So they're taking money through taxes and TARFs and so forth, and then they're spending it on command and control concepts, and that never works. If it did work, there wouldn't be a United States, there'd be a Soviet Union, and the whole world would be a Soviet Union right now. But it doesn't work that way. But that's all right. They're allowed to believe what they want to believe, and we just let them sing their songs. But unfortunately, we all know here that it doesn't work. So, all right. Let's see. Oh, Yana says it would just delay the inflation, cause major. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It would. The slowdown, and that's what we're seeing in the United States is we're seeing a slowdown. And interest rates dropping, more dramatically. And so, you put those two together and you get what we got. We got a sloppy high inflation, high interest rate economy going nowhere. Now, luckily, there's so much momentum they weren't able to attack Mr. Trump's, the former president's, policies. Still, they're trying. I mean, from day one they've tried, but there are some they can't move, and they're still powering the economy. When Mr. Trump left office on January 6th or 8th or whatever, January 6th, the economy was moving at 6.2% GDP growth, and you can see where it's at now. It's been minus for going on a third quarter now. Mr. Biden has only been president for 6 quarters, so ouch, ouch. It's been minus. So yeah, it is a tough road to hoe, as we say out in farming land. So anyway, there is the look at the let's take a look at the let's see, major shine. Okay, let's take a look at that. Going to go over to the S&P 500 and take a peek at that. There we are. And there it is right there. Kind of just flatlining up here for the last couple of days since it made the two big moves here. And you see that right there. It's flatlining now. And let's take a look at it over on J4X. Right there. And you can see the strength in it. Same as our 4 green dots going on with the volatility. Red and green dot, the first one. You can see that action there. And you can see the green line above. And so it's been a nice bounce here. We've had a very nice bounce. There's talk really of that dividends probably are not going to get cut, and dividends are the mother's milk of stocks basically, and earnings. Between earnings and dividends, they're the two things, and earnings are pretty good. They have not been backed off because they're able to pass along the expenses, but it needs to stop soon, or the companies are gonna start to feel more pain. I heard who was it today? Amazon is laying off more people again. So we're seeing that over and over. Oh, there you go. Biden is releasing another 10 million barrels of the Strategic Petroleum Reserve in next month in a wake of the OPEC production. They call it OPEC Plus here in the United States. So it's OPEC. And then say the Russian Federation and I guess anybody else that's digging oil out of the ground, they call it plus. So there it is. There you can see the S&P looking very steady and firm. Let's take a look at it on a very short-term intraday look, and there it is right there. So the economic news came out right here off of this one right there. And then they released the information back here. See this move right here? They released it. Let's bring that up a little bit better, like that. They released the news to the reporters here, so that's insider information. They're not supposed to disseminate it until right here, but they're able to write articles about it instantly. So in other words, at 7:31 or 8:30 our time here, they're able to release articles about the economic news, and so they're allowed to get it about 15 minutes ahead of time. There are people who get little inside tips and let them know what's going on, and you can see there, those numbers were definitely catering to equity expansion for money managers. So you can see here, after about 2 minutes, so it was like right from here. After 2 minutes, most of the gain was when they released it to the reporters back here, and you can see it's kind of flattening out. Probably going to bounce around in this area there. All right, from there, we drift over to the euro. Let's see what the euro is doing this morning. There's the euro, kind of flat. It's down, barely unchanged from yesterday. They pressured it down a little bit there. And you can see the weekly is still dancing underneath, but at least the green line, here it's Thursday, we are starting to move above the negative manifold right here. That's a negative manifold. These are mirror images. They are parallel. And so they're not perpendicular. They don't intersect. What is perpendicular is the green and the dashed and the histograms. They're perpendicular. And when they intersect at that 90-degree angle, you see a characteristic of When it does it here, you notice that it's breaking down in value, and when you see it try to climb up here, and you can see that they're moving up, you see strength coming in here, and then when they get through the zero line, many a time there's lots of follow through. Now you can see a perfect example. The lack of follow through was right here, where we got that perpendicular move. We look at the echo. The echo was up there for a couple weeks, and we notice it's going to be a shallow event. In other words, it's already too high. Now, if it had gone through the top part of the manifold, we'd be really screaming like, be careful, be careful, be careful. Don't get long off of that. And in the daily, what it does is it cleans up that really quick and says, hey, don't be long anymore. Or let's put it this way, don't protect your short, because, protect your short here. That's what that's telling you. And then when it gets up to here, it tells you, okay, we're getting ready to go back down again. And that's how that works. And that's what our math does. The Nobel Prize was given to three physicists last night, yesterday, today, and what they do is they work with perpendicular lines of light. And so they're playing around with spooky numbers at a distance. And so something Doc has done here for the last 40 some odd years, since 1977. And so, we were that was my objective at the time. I was doing this math for physics, and now I've incorporated it into financial markets, and it's kind of a good thing there. So I just thought I'd mention the perpendicular line versus the parallel line, just for the fun of it. They're not giving me a Nobel Prize since I won't publish my work. So who knows? Maybe one day Doc will publish his work on his deathbed when I'm not going to trade anymore. And maybe after I'm gone, they'll give me a Nobel Prize. That would be so cool. So anyhow, because they just gave those guys a prize on light and perpendicular lines. All right, spooky numbers at a distance, which my math seemed to resolve decades ago. All right, from there, let's put it up on J4X too and see what's going on there. As you can see on J4X, it's the same thing. I'm sure the green line is still piercing. Yeah. Oh, no, yes. Okay, so it's now trying to break down right here. You see that? So it had been piercing here. We got the Hinky-Ashky bars going green. When they go green and this line is above the dashed line, the yellowish, goldish dashed line, it means that the momentum is on the upside, vice versa. When it breaks below it and these things are red, you get downward momentum. And so that's how that whole thing works. And it's a good tool. And that's why we have it up on J4X. This way, people who come to Dukascopy can put this tool up on the J4X platform and have a better idea than if they were using moving averages or MACDs or Bollinger Bands. Doc's simple Manhattan, what I call the Manhattan technique, is a much better system right there. So, all right, now, from there we're going to jump over, and guess what I'm eating this morning? I'm eating popcorn. Don't ask me why, but I was just so hungry to eat something. I had breakfast. I made popcorn. I guess I'm entertained by the webinar, entertained by the markets. And there it is right there. You can see, I was really surprised this morning to see this action, that weakening. I'm a little surprised about cable doing that. Saw a really tough headline. I didn't get a chance to read it. It said something about the new prime minister. No one likes her or something like that. I like her. I think she's going in the right direction. So it'll just be a little time before they get used to her. She's not in the command and control economies. So that probably is messing with their heads, You got that assimilation going on with England, Great Britain, with Europe, And then you got Poland and Sweden and Italy and, Czech Republic and Hungary and Bulgaria and I'm trying to think who else is going on there. Latvia and Lithuania, they're all moving away from that command and control concept altogether since they were part of it during the Russian era or the Soviet era, let's say. So, all right, from there we jump over to the Swiss. I thought I saw some good signs in the Swiss. Let's see. That's right. It did go into a sell. That's what it is. Yesterday it went into the sell. I'm happy about that. Now we're getting a volatility signal. Let's hope, hope. And you can see the weekly has dropped underneath the time manifold right there. That perpendicular line going through, so it's giving you a warning. And and the histogram is dropped below the manifold also right there. That's what these mirror lines are that are, they're parallel. They're basically a signal, just like we use the green line over on J4X with the dash line. And it shows you that this is what's going on. There's some pressure coming in. Maybe as let me see if without choking on my own words, and I'm not even eating anything. Let's see as time goes on if the fact that Credit Suisse doesn't go bankrupt, that everybody starts to feel more comfortable again about the Swiss saltine and the Swiss economy. And that seems to be part of the recipe right there at this point in time. It seems like that was what was driving the pressure on it, and it is driving the pressure on it. And we'll go from there pretty much. That's what it comes down to. A sip of my tea. There we are. Now, from there, so we don't have the Swiss up on there, and what we didn't do? We didn't put the cable up there too. Let's see a quick look at the cable. There's cable doing that little red thing just like we are too, rolling over. Let me just show it to you again on Chicago Quant. That's why we show both charts. Showing you that Chicago Quant, who's the most accurate math of all, and then J4X, how J4X actually does a really good job of trying to, emulate, produce, show the same action as Chicago Quant. As you can see right there, it's trying to bend down, and we're getting the red, and you can see right there, you got the green line through this, and we're way up. It got up into the 90s. Wow, that really topped out. So it might be a very short correction, and then they'll start moving north again. Now let's take a look at Swiss. Right there, there's Swiss. You can see a couple days of red, just like we're a couple days of red, which is always a good thing. Let's see, right there. So it's trying. It is trying to break down. All right. From there, if anyone has a question or comment, let them fly. We're happy to respond. Thank you, Robin. I agree. We love questions. We love, looking at different things, because the market is enormous, just enormous. And so, we only follow X amount of things. We go through them every day. But when someone says, hey, like Janos did, he jumped in and he said, hey, I want to see the S&P. Didn't have to wait until I'll do the S&P. I do it at, I guess I could say we'll do it in about 20 minutes or so, 25 minutes from now. But we don't have to wait 25 minutes. Someone wants to see something, we'll go to it. Someone wants to see the euro all over again, we'll go look at it. Someone wants to see the dollar index again, we'll put it up there again. There are no wrong questions or dumb questions in money and in trading. There are only long answers or short answers. That's all there are. And thank you, Robin, for making that statement. That's good. Because we do want questions. We learn from questions. You never know what question, as much as you might think, oh, I'm not going to ask that question, it's probably too stupid or it's too dumb. It's like you never know what the question may lead us to. It's like breadcrumbs and Hansel and Gretel. You just never know. I mean, was it stupid for two kids to throw breadcrumbs down on the ground as they were walking through the woods? I guess some would think, oh, well, the animals are going to eat it up. But you know what? They're not going to eat every one of them up. So if they're trying to find their way back, they will be found. And if someone's looking for them, they may follow them. You never know. So some could say, that's really dumb. Why didn't they drop like rocks? Something nothing will eat or move. Well, it is what it is. All right, from there we jump over to the Turkish lira, and let's see what the dollar Turkish lira is doing first. And there it is right there. It's had some wild spikes, lots of green. We've been in a weekly buy now since the middle of February. February at this point. This thing has just been rolling along, rolling with the homies. Just, and they've had some rampaging spikes that match up. Look at these spikes. That one, that's an ill liquidity or a low liquidity spike, without a doubt. Someone reached in, that was real. They paid those prices. This one, same here. Someone sold, and they robbed them. And then same thing here. Someone tried to come in and buy a certain size that the market couldn't handle, and they took it up, and they had to pay a premium, and then it fell right back into the basic range again. So that's the dollar Turkish lira. We see that more as like an index, and when we scrunch up our chart, you can see here it's been in a weekly buy since all the way back in here. It just refuses. It gets close at times, but it just refuses to go into the weekly sell. And then every daily buy has been a winner chicken dinner. And then what we do is we go over to the Euro Turkish lira, which trades like a real currency. Whereas I call the dollar Turkish lira a index. It looks like an index. And it looks like, except for with those crazy spikes, it's like a illiquid index too. That's what it really looks like. And let's put it up over here. That's the Euro Turkish lira right there. And you can see that they even happened in that. It just shows you that somebody came in and there was no liquidity for the size that they were trying to trade. And without that size, it definitely got wild. Wild and woolly. All right, now, let's see, that's the Turkish lira. Okay, from there we go over to Canadian. Let's go to the Canadian now. Where's the Canadian? Right there. We watched oil with the Canadian, just like we watched gold with the South African rand. You see, it wasn't a sell for a couple of days, and we thought, oh, okay, oil's going to go down. The oil's going to go up in price. It's going to become more expensive. And we thought, okay, yeah, but the inflation seems to be having an influence too, and their economic growth. It seems to be a combined altogether. And you can see the histogram is trying to back off, but it's still touching the plus manifold. The green line's doing the same thing. It's trying to back off, but not enough. And then at the same time, you can see the daily is flirting. We're getting a volatility signal of red and green all of a sudden. And it's flirting to get back into the daily buy. So what we do is we go over to J4X and we'll put up oil. Last I saw oil, it was up just a little bit. So let's find oil on here. And then we'll reverse this out too at the same time. So there is Texas Light Sweet Crude trading at the 87.66 area. It looks like it's down about 40 cents. I saw where it was up around 88.07 last night. And let's take a look at it right here, which will be a little bit more definitive. There's the front month, and it's backed off. You can see it has a new high for the day, which was 88.66. Right now it's trading at 87.64, 63 now, 62 now, 61, 60, 62 again. And so we're seeing it back off a little bit, and that's probably why we see the Canadian trying to roll over. We'll put Canadian up on J4X now. And there it is right there. And I'm sure we'll get a little red thing here in a couple hours. And you can see already it's trying to bounce up on that too. So and same as, let's go back over to here real quick. You can see right here that's trying to bounce up also, which is like, no, don't do that. We want to see, oil is going up in price, so why isn't Canadian marching with it down, going the other direction? All right, from there, we drift over to South African Rand, and it's doing the same thing. It's kind of doing a bounce up. And last I saw this morning, gold was marching up, so that should be going down, but it's not. Now let's put gold up there. There's gold. You see gold's very firm. It is at the top end of its range, around 90 and change, trying to roll over. And then, let's see, where's it at? Let's go like this. And then we go to here. And there is the gold. You can see gold is higher. It is a little bit higher than yesterday. It's trying. It is trying really hard. And this is the December contract we use as our spot now. Whereas Dukascopy is using actual, like, probably, real spot. In other words, everyday stuff, so not much time in it. Let's see. Can I say anything else about gold? I guess not. Looks like it's doing the same thing as the stock market. It started to run up in here, went into the daily buy there, and there was a nice move. We'll go back to the metals complex after we finish off the rest of the currencies here. And then let's jump over to, let's see, right there we'll go to the yen. See what the yen looks like. There's the yen. And we were talking about that yesterday. It just seems to be locked in that 143, 142 and a half to 145-ish area. You can see we're flirting with a daily buy as we speak. Let's see if we can widen this a little bit more. You can see it there. It's trying to jump across. It's doing a good job at it. And the weekly is very firm and comfortable. It's been in a buy since the 136, 37-ish area. And it's gone up 8 full big handles. And let's see what else we have here. I guess that's about it there. And then we go and look at the last currency we look at. And then obviously if anybody wants to see a different one, just yell. Put it up on the chat line. Here is the Mexican peso. We go south of the border. You can see it's a vol signal going on, a red and a green, red and a green. And the histogram and the green line is piercing the 0 line, which is like watching the, let's put the peso over there. Right there. It's trying to do the same thing. It's trying to pierce and move back up. And we got a green right there too at the same time. So we can see that pressure on the market, in that particular sector, trying to lift and trying to get some action into it. I'm going to take a sip of tea, but what we're really thinking here is that the Mexican peso is trading its range. It's not really willing to break away from the range itself. And so that's what we're really seeing there, is we're seeing this Mexican peso bounce back up and not even challenge that bottom of the range where you see the black line with the little dots above it, just sliding across. We did get up to the 50 percentile about 7 days ago. We went and touched the 50 percentile from coming off the lows and then stalled out again. So we are watching these currencies kind of do their little dance. They're not exactly, moving in very aggressive ways. They're just doing soft little dances. And I think that's all we're really looking at in the end, is that the market is trying to kind of, wait for the election. We're about four full weeks away from it. What's today? The 6th now, right? And the election's on the 8th. So we got 32, 33 days, something like that. And that's really going to resolve a lot of the question marks that's going on. That is really going to do it. That will do it. And so that's where we stand at the moment. All right, that finishes off the currencies. From there, let's see, where are we at this point? Let's try going back to the metals complex. And there is gold. So let's take a look at silver. And there's silver. Just down, well, it's just like flat. And it's holding up very well here. The weekly's having no issues at all. Where's the weekly on gold? Yeah, so gold is having a real hard time getting its lines over the weekly. If they put a little strength into it tomorrow, maybe we'll see that close in a weekly buy. We already seen platinum is through it also. Same situation. For a change, seems like... and you can see here's copper. Copper's holding up pretty well. It's down for the day, of course. Let's put that on here. Let's go like this. We'll go to silver. There's silver. lots of green. And it's trying to turn. And then copper. And so what we're seeing is that the metals complex is trying to lift. And silver seems to be leading it. So that must have been like short covering to the gold silver pairs trade. And we've been looking for this for 4.5 months. We've been saying this is the time period right here where I think we're going to see metals turn. And it's trying. It is trying. We know it's trying. You can see it's trying. It's trying to get into a weekly. They're trying to get it to go. And it's just a matter of, and there was a couple of reasons why I thought we would see the turn right around now. First of all, the election coming up. Second of all, I expect to see interest rates start to top out. I really do. I think that the interest rates are going to top out. So, as much as I guess I say the Fed put is dead, I don't think it's totally dead. And I think that was one of the reasons I thought that silver and gold and so forth would start to lift because there would be cheaper interest rates, and it's trying. We've kind of seen the top at the moment. The bigger question is, are they going to do 3/4 on November 2nd? And with the election November 8th, or are they going to do a half or a quarter? There's talk now that there might be a half or a quarter with a statement saying we're raising rates to keep moving along and raising rates to combat inflation, but we're waiting to see what effect it has had already. That's what we're thinking Powell is going to say. And that's why we were anticipating to see the metals complex try to lift in this area, time-wise. All right, and last, let's take a look at the platinum again. It is Thursday. Normally we do it Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And there it is right there. You see it. It doesn't have any problem holding up in here. They're going to have to beat it down to this area, like the 875 area, I think, to get that thing to drop. Look, it's through the manifold. The blue is trying to get through the manifold. That's usually a very, very bullish sign. See that when it did it here? We had that nice move. When it turned up again and it was underneath, the blue dashed line was underneath it. It was a run, hot, heavy. And so that's the action we're expecting out of this. All right, now what we'll do is we'll drift over to the energy sector. And there's the front month oil, just a little down, nothing major. It was at 64 now. It was at 62 when we just pointed out earlier. Let's put Brent up there. Brent is 92, 93 maybe? 93 and change? That's what I'm thinking. Yeah, 93.21. So we're seeing that strength. We're seeing, that inching along. The Brent is trying to lift up more and more and more. Look at the range it's in. It's up in the 80s. There's a lot of pressure there. And we're going to, basically, I expect to see the, the oil market to kind of hesitate up in here a little bit in the 88, 87 area, 86, and then get back into that 90 range again. But there's a good chance, there's a very good chance that we got 4 weeks to the election. And see, the election is unknown when it comes to the power that's going to be gained. We know that the Republicans are going to take control. That means, more open economy again, less command and control. But what we don't know is, will it be a supermajority? Some are looking for 50, some are looking for 60, some are looking for 30 new seats. I myself am looking at the 65 to 85 area. I think we're going to get a supermajority. And we haven't had one for the Republicans since 1871, whereas the Democrats have had supermajorities pretty much off and on for over 100 years now. 100 years, a full century. So I kind of think that the pendulum is swinging hard in that direction. All right, and from there, let's take a look at the back month, see how the contango is going. So that's trading at 87.56 basically, and let's look at the January contract trading at 85.86. Wait a minute. 87.56. So 56. So it's basically about $1.75. So it's widening a little bit. The spread keeps on getting a little bit wider. So the back months are starting to back off. We saw it get to a point where the 3-month spread was like 75, 80 cents. Now it's $1.50. So that could be, a lot of noise. $1.75 is a lot. It's a lot. Very much so. All right. From there, we go over to natural gas. There it is right there. Okay, there we are. There you go, right there. You can see natural gas still trying to lift again today, like it did yesterday. Went into the buy. It's still in the weekly sell, so we're not exactly like, oh my goodness gracious, it's dropping or something like that bad. But at least it's backing off. Now we go over and look at. There's natural gas. You can see it there on J4X, same situation. But then what we do is on J4X, we go down to this Spanish oil company that does natural gas. And we've been watching that when natural gas in the United States was trading at over $9. We were watching it, and it was trading at like $30. And so this is one of the only tools we can even get a mild grasp to match up to what we hear in the news. How the natural gas in Europe is trading at $25, $30, a cubic foot, where we're trading at, as you can see there, about $7 a cubic foot. And there is the Spanish company, and you can see it's trading in the 23s again. It got down to about 23.60, and now we see it trading at, we went up to 24.5, and now it's back down to 23.90. So that's the only way we can see some action in Europe on a day-to-day basis with a chart. And if Giannis, you know any other way we can do it, please let me know. I would love to be able to follow the European gas even more. So that's the natural gas situation in the world. I know that Mr. Biden he did promise to export natural gas. Just hasn't really done it too well. But it's happening. Something's going on. If they would only open up our pipelines and let them export more, it would be a lot better for Europe. You could pay half of what you're paying right now, which would be really nice. All right, from there, that finishes off on the energies. And what we do is, we're moving fast today too. We slide over to the indices, and we started off with, you can see the S&P right there, just kind of bumping along, plus minus, plus minus. We'll take a look at it here, like so. There we are. You see it's down 10 points now. At one point, it was trading at the 95 area, and it's trading at the 84 area, so it was basically unchanged or up $1. At that point, it was up about $3 right there. So the news pushed it up to the 96, 97 and a half area, so it was up about $3 at one point. Right in here. And then it drifted down, you can see, and now it's trying to perk its head back up again. All right, and then from there we go over to the Tech 100. Let's do this. The S&P, the Dow Jones Industrial Average, the 30. And you can see same thing with the news. They had an idea what's going on, and then once the news came out, 3 minutes later it was the top, and they sold it down. So they front-runned it. And you can see here it's trying to lift up again, whereas at the top it basically put us into a sell, and then it rolled over. Now let's take a look at, there we are. There you go. That's the Dow Jones Industrial Average, down just a little bit today, but looking very firm overall. Nice big pointy spike. Let's see if this one like that spike. Now this spike here kind of stalled out, found the support, and kept on climbing all the way up to there. This is the daily chart. So we'll see if this does the same thing. If it comes down, touches the top of this top manifold here line, and bounces off it and moves back up more. All right, now we drift over to, let's do this too. Let's go over and take a look at the short term again. All right, nope, that's not it. Right there, and you can see there the Dow down 92, and I think at one point, let's see, the high is 33.20, and it's trading at 32.10. So it got up about 15 points, which is not bad in the Dow. Some action is better than no action. Then from there we go over and take a look at the Tech 100, right there. You see it's down 26 points basically, right there. And at one point it was all, let's see, when the news came out, let's see, where's it at? Right there. When the news came out, it was up at, let's see, there's the news right there, right? Oh no, it was even higher. So it got up to 11,660, and right now we're trading at 11,620. I'm sorry, 1150, almost 11,600, 11,600. It's 59,597, 96. So basically, after the news came out, they sold it. They bought it before the news. They sold it at the news, and so it's dropped 100 plus points. And so you can see it's down 30 points. So it was up around 70 points at one point. There is the Tech 100 right there. You see the same thing, green. We're at the high end of the range. Maybe it needs to digest. Maybe it doesn't. I don't know. We'll see. I'm not totally convinced that they're going to sell these things down. I think they're just going to take a little profit. And then I think that some people will say, okay, it looks all right. If they're not crushing the market, we'll get back in there and try to nibble away again. So we'll take a look at the daily on that. And just like we have it up on J4X, there it is on Chicago Quant. And you can see lots of green, but it's been hesitant in here. They sell it down, it comes back up. Sell it down, it comes back up. That's what we've been doing now for the last couple of days. The time manifold on the weekly is still underneath. It's trying to lift. Looks like it's next week's business where the Dow, let's take a look at all three of those again real quick. But the Dow still underneath, the S&P still underneath, and the Tech 100 still underneath. So they're having those issues. What we do lately is, we've been looking at what we call the junk stocks, the Russell 2000, the ones that are least capitalized. So let's just take a look at that. Where's that at? Right there. There we are. Let's see how that weekly looks. That weekly started late, just started here, and it's already tried to bottom. Now we need this to climb up also. So it's having the same problems as the other three indexes. They're not really lifting that much. So we'll wait and see, and when those things finally do get into a buy, one thing's for sure, it obviously tells you not to be short on a very short-term basis. But overall, in a week-to-week basis, it's telling us that the signs have not shown up yet that the market is changing its major trend. Let's see. Let's just take a look at it over here on J4X, the weekly. See, it's starting to turn. And we take a look. That's the Tech 100. There's the S&P 500. It's turning. Also, you can see the green line turning. And it went down pretty low, too, in the 13s. And then last but not least, let's take a look at the Dow Jones Industrial Average. Same thing. They're all trying to turn. All trying to turn. And I don't think we can get Russell. Let's see if there's a Russell 2000 on here. I don't think so. I could have sworn I seen it somewhere at one point. I thought it was like in a really strange place, where it jumped out somewhere at me one day. I was like, wow. No, I don't see it. Let's just take a look up. So there is the Tech 100. Nope. That's the Indian Nifty 50. Let's see what that looks like. It's been breaking down also. Maybe we're coming to the bottom of that action also. Notice it didn't take out any of these lows. And the DAX. DAX. That's the Japanese. Oh, let's look at the Japanese. It should be a lot of green. It's been trying to lift. Nope, not at all. Let's take the Japanese Nikkei and put that up there. There it is right there. You can see the weekly is not lifting also, on the Nikkei. So the markets are a little hesitant. Short term is keeping us safe. Long term is telling us, let's just wait. Let's just wait. And what I mean by long term, I'm talking about just week to week basis at this point. And that's the answer to all that at this point. And then, let's see. And then, where do we go from there? We go over to, we've looked at the stock indices, we've looked at oil, we've looked at the gold and metals and so forth. So if anybody has anything particular they'd like to see, just give us an idea. If not, what am I going to go look at? Let's see. What have we not looked at lately? Would you like to look at Apple Computer or Amazon or Google? Some of the things we follow. Follow a bunch of interesting things. I'll give you a second to think about that. I'm going to go look at Apple while I'm waiting. Or better yet, here's Tesla. Let's see what Tesla's doing. I want to put Tesla up there. Well, no, let's do the Apple first. And there's Apple. We're in a daily buy for 3 days. You can see that. It's really not doing much. And the weekly is still having its problems also. Not much action there. It's trying, like everything else, it's trying to get some type of strength into the market. And I would imagine money is scared. It's not really sure what to do. Amazon, same situation. It's been in a weekly sell since back in here, in the $130, $135 area. And you can see it's drifted all the way down into the 112s, 13s, things like that. And now it's in the 120s, low 120s. And you can see here, it's been in a daily buy since here. So buyers were nibbling. There's no doubt about that. We've seen buyers nibbling in a lot of these products for the last 3 to 5 days and 6 days and things like that. There's a Meta or Facebook. Been in a weekly sell since here. There we are. And you can see it went into a daily buy. See, it's been in a daily sell since here. And then it went into a buy here yesterday. And there's today. We're just kind of cruising along. So we're not really seeing a lot of reaching for these products, we're waiting. We're waiting to see if money starts to come back in. I myself, as I say over and over again, I'm totally convinced that they're not going to do it until like 2 or 3 days before the election, that type of thing. But they're starting to warm up. Let's put it that way. Here's the exchange. And that's the Chicago Mercantile, Chicago Board of Trade, and the NYMEX. You can see it's been in a daily buy for 2 days. What is that? That is a plus. So it was in a sell from here in the $205 area. Went into a buy here, but it was in a sell before it even did that. So you couldn't get long, and then it went right back into the sell again there. And it's been staying into the sell. Oh, here you go. It did it again. Tried to get into the buy here. Went into the sell right there. So it tried to get into a buy again right in this action here, and it failed at it. And the short has been the best play of this whole thing. All right. Let's see. I don't have much more to say. I'm trying to think what else we could look at. Let me think. What would Dukascopy traders need to look at more? Maybe, let's see, the New Zealand, something like that. We could take a look at the New Zealand. Let's see, right? Let's see. There's right. Where's it at? It's right there. Now you can see here, that's British pound as we were looking at before. It's it's got that red thing going on. There's New Zealand. New Zealand's trying to break down. Went into a buy here. Still in that weekly sell from way back. I mean, like way back, like right there. There it is right there. It's been in that sell since the 62 area. And it's drifted down to the 56 area. Now it's trying to... Look at this. This was interesting. A lot of action here these last couple of days. Whereas you notice the distance between, like, goes into a sell, then like a week later gets into a buy, and it goes into a sell again. And then like right there, and then goes into a buy. Where's it at? That buy has moved over more. It's like right there. And fails, like so. And then goes into a buy here. And, it's like 3 weeks right there. And then it gets into a sell after that buy for a couple of days. And it's been in a sell from all this action, so you can only take the shorts, not the longs. And then you got one here that goes on and on and on. Look at that. From there on the 13th all the way to the 29th. Then goes into a sell. And then 2 days later, it's back into a buy. And now today, they're trying to press it into the sell one more time. So you can see that the markets are, the currency market in particular, in this particular product, the New Zealand against the dollar, the Kiwi trade, a lot of doubt. A lot of doubt. Dollar is very strong over it all. Well, I guess we have to figure out what a title is for this one. What did we start off talking about at the beginning of this? Probably gold and silver. What was yesterday's? Let me see what yesterday's title was. I'm trying to remember what it was. Was it the Bitcoin one? I think it was. Bitcoin leading. Oh, that's what we didn't look at. Let's go over and look at Bitcoin really quick. I was saying Bitcoin seemed to be leading. And there it is there. It's still doing the same thing like the stock market. Looking identical to it. And the weekly, that's why I considered it leading. It's still in the week. It's above the weekly sell. So it's in the weekly buy as we speak. If that green line had pierced the top manifold here. But look at these two together. It's very impressive. They're showing some real strength in there. Let's make that a little bit bigger like that. There we go. You see it. They're really coming in. In other words, they're lifting this thing. So, we've been in the short since the 23,000-ish area. 22, was that 23,110 is the high. So we've been in the weekly sell since then. Was in a daily sell for 4 days before that. And the sells have been okay, There's another nice sell. And then there's, this one was very poor. It made a new low the next day, but if you didn't money manage it well, you would be complaining, that's for sure. And this week it's been firm all week long. So, I think that's what yesterday's title was. Let me look and see. I think it was said Bitcoin leading. Opening it up right now as we speak. see. There we go. Going over to Dukascopy host. I like that title I had on Tuesday. Fed is lost with rates. Boy, isn't that true? Let's see. Title yesterday. Yeah, Bitcoin leading was yesterday's title. And you can see it is still trying to lead. You know, that weekly is jumping up with the gold, and the silver's already in it. Platinum is trying to jump up with the gold. You know, we're seeing that action. So, and there is the Bitcoin. All right, traders. I guess what we'll do is we'll come up with today's title will be, we talked about Bitcoin, we talked about rates, and waiting for indications of the stock indices. That's what it seems like. You know, we're waiting for, you know, the Dow and everybody trying to get going because they're just on the edge. Title. 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 And that is, I think that's what we're going to call it. We'll call it Waiting for Stock Indices to Join In. Waiting for, let's see, title. Waiting for weeklies to join in. That's what it really is. S&P 500. Waiting for S&P 500 to join. That seems to be the answer to it all. All right, traders, this is Doc from North America. Catch you all tomorrow, same time, same channel. It will be, thank God it's Friday. Thank goodness. Yay, Friday. All right. So happy trails to you. Until we meet again. Happy trails to you. To all our trading friends. Later, traders. See you tomorrow.